News out of Buffalo. They are doing away with their longtime tenured head coach, Sean McDermott. Now, the thing I'll say about this type of situation, so I'm a Cleveland Browns fan, right? Cleveland sports through and through. So I've seen this play out time and time again. Basically, after every season, the coach can get fired. So I know all about this. But the Bills have been very, very patient, and I would say overall pretty happy with the work that Sean McDermott has done over the years. You know, he was the coach for, I believe, 9 seasons. And, you look at that success, you just look at the overall record, 98-50. That's very good. That's there's nothing to scoff at. But that's not why Sean McDermott got fired. It's not because of his regular season record. He was released, let go, fired, whatever, because of the performance in the playoffs, not meeting the expectation, which I'm sure ownership, GM, fan base holds the Bills to a standard that involves a Super Bowl trip. Not just getting to the Super Bowl even, but they probably want to win one because they have a generational talent in Josh Allen, who is an incredible quarterback, elite of the elite. Like, very few like him that have ever played in this game, right? He's a very, very special player. And they know he's turning 30 years old, right? So his physical prime is now. And with McDermott coaching through most of that tenure, or all of that tenure for Josh Allen, I think Josh Allen's been in the league for 8 seasons. So it's been McDermott and Allen the whole way. They're not going anywhere with this combination. They're not going to release Josh Allen. What the hell? But they can change coach and look to change things up. And that's what I think this is here. Sean McDermott has an 8-8 record in the playoffs with some really rough losses. Opportunities to win games. I had some questionable, decisions that I saw when I was watching the Bills game, recently against the Broncos. And players are accountable. We hold them accountable. They got to play better and all those things. But, coaches are evaluated too. And they're evaluated based on results. Not play to play, but just 8-8 in the playoffs. And I don't think there's ever been a coach with 8 playoff wins who has yet to get to the Super Bowl. That's a unique statistic to Sean McDermott. So they're moving on. Now the question is why? You got this winning coach. He's been winning tons of games. Why would they move on from him? Is he really the problem? Well, here's what I'll throw at you and see if you agree or disagree. Around the NFL, there are teams who have first-year head coaches, right? Their first year in with a team that was awful in previous years, very recently. So take the Bears, for example. Look at what the Bears have done under Ben Johnson. Look at what the 49ers did also, which is not the same situation, with devastating injuries to key players, quarterback, best defensive player, huge, massive targets in the receiving game with George Kittle. And they were there against the Seattle Seahawks, right? Getting into the playoffs in the toughest division in the league, and then winning their first round game against the Eagles, who were favorited in that game, right? I'm just looking around at the league like guys are doing great things with less. And then let's take it one step further. The division. Somehow, some way, the cream of the crop in the AFC East is now the New England Patriots. That happened under Sean McDermott, who has been enjoying the AFC East without Tom Brady. The Bills became the team. Well, now it's the Patriots, clearly. They have a fantastic defense, an effective running game, and an MVP caliber quarterback in Drake May. Right? So they're knocking on the precipice of a Super Bowl trip. Ownership and the GM in Buffalo see what's happening around the league. Liam Cohen in Jacksonville. Right? They see these things. The Texans winning games in spite of their quarterback. Like, what has Sean McDermott done to really elevate this team? If anything, you could say he's underachieved just by looking at the playoff record, looking at the quarterback he has, and the talent that they have accrued over the years. They have had injury problems. No NFL team doesn't have injuries. They have had changes within positions. No NFL team goes without that. It's the same thing. But I believe that the decision to move on from McDermott was very clear. He didn't do enough to get the team in a position to compete for a Super Bowl. They have not really gotten there. They really haven't been all that close because they're losing the games that get you there, because those teams are good and the margin in those games is so slim. You have to be a fantastic coach. You got to make the right calls. You got to put this thing together, and he wasn't able to do that. So he wasn't fired because of his regular season record. He was fired because they couldn't take the next step to get to a Super Bowl with their Super Bowl caliber quarterback. That's why he was fired. They don't believe that he can get them there, and they don't believe that he can win a Super Bowl. And there's no proof that they're wrong. In my opinion, ownership was right to move on from McDermott. This is a results-driven league. Look at Matt LaFleur getting fired, Kevin Stefanski getting fired. The tolerance for losing and the way that you're losing, meaning when they give you enough, when they give you players and they give you structure and they give you the lateral movement and the vertical integration to do things as a coach, and you don't provide, they will move on from you. Because look at the guys that are providing results around the league in their first year at an organization. When those teams were playing poorly just the year before, they were laughingstocks, losers, bottom of their divisions. And here they are in divisional games and in the playoffs from literally from the bottom. Just more is expected. You have arguably the best quarterback in the league, right? I mean, who's better than Josh Allen? So McDermott's gone because he couldn't produce when he was given all that he had. And maybe he goes to another team and finds success, and I hope that he does. I never wish bad upon people, and he's not a bad guy. He doesn't seem bad to me. I don't know. Seemed like he was really in lockstep and he loved his players, and that's not the issue. That's not why he was let go. He was fired because he couldn't do what was expected, and that was win the biggest games.